It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go, here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Run it to your friends, come on.
Come on, come on.
It's a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is time. Sinclair is on the mic.
Once again, it's on. You're still troubled in your home. Got you tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your well. Keep it moving, spirit flowing, because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday 8 and 9, and it's on. Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show at night. That's right. It is the Sinclair Show coming to you live and direct. I'm not even trying to be laughing, but I be seeing some funny things. First, I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions, comments, thoughts, whatever's in your mind to SinclairTalk@Outlook.com. We're going to continue to address as many as possible each night. We're on the air to reach you, the valued listener. That means there would be no reason for there to be a me if it wasn't a you. That's right. So I'm always thankful for that. First, let me see who is the first person on the show. Uh-oh, y'all. Guess who is the first person on the show in 25? It's your boy, Jay Dizzle. What's going on, Johnny? See, y'all don't know nothing about that. Some of y'all ain't got nobody to get on your show. Jay Dizzle be the first one on tonight. And look here, people. Tonight, we got a night of reflection. I'm going to ask y'all some serious questions based on some things that done popped up. I'm to be honest with you, y'all see me reading. I'm reading some text messages and everything that's coming through. Work related, of course. That right there. What's up, mama? Hey, mama. That's right, mama on the show tonight. Detective Pamela Black, what's going on? Glad to see you in 25. And there's some more people out there. Listen, people, if you out there in YouTube and X and man, either the local TV stations or wherever you coming in through from, radio stations in Rocky Mount, Greenville, stations out in Colorado, wherever you at, glad to see you tonight. And if I don't call your name, it's because I didn't see you pop up. But remember, for the people that are joining for the first time, I can't see because I'm using a platform that streams out to multiple platforms at the same time. I'm really only getting the feedback from those who might have joined through Facebook. So if I don't see your stuff and you send me something to my direct message, I will give you a shout out the next time. Because I'm going to be honest with you, people be out here acting an absolute fool when they don't get their little shout outs. And I can respect that because if you take the time to come by, stop by, and holler at your boy, Uncle Sinclair, then the least I could do is say what's up to you. But that's the reason why, if you don't hear me give you a shout out, is because I didn't see your response. All right. Listen, people. Let me tell y'all something. It is 25 and the foolishness has already started. And we're going to talk about, I got a bunch of different things I want to briefly chit chat about tonight. Because some people been saying that, look, we've been sending you stuff and you ain't been talking about it. So we're going to crash land on a bunch of different things tonight. And so we might not spend as much time as I normally would on them, but we're going to talk about them. First and foremost, listen, to all y'all that's out here and have jumped off the proverbial emotional bridge because Donald Trump is getting ready in a few days, getting ready to go and take that oath of office again. Listen, move on from that. Ain't nothing you can do about it. You better keep your eye on it and watch what be happening out here in these streets. Keep your head on a swivel. But what's done is done. Okay. I've always said two things. One, we don't get to pick and choose the outcomes when you don't participate. But when you do participate, you have a right to not like the outcome, but you still got to respect it. All right. And the moment that he takes that oath of office, he will be the next president of the United States. For all y'all to be sitting around talking about he ain't my president, he your president, whatever. Listen, once he take the Oval Office, you got to go ahead and get a little salute, even if you don't like it. Even if your hand tilt the same way his hair do, you still got to get that man his respect because that's what's expected. We wanted the same thing when it was Joe Biden that won. So now you got to get the same thing up to Trump now that he done won. Now, all that being said, is it a little bit antsy? Absolutely, because he talking crazy. Listen, I don't know if you all have been watching the news and watching some of his little pre inauguration speeches, but I'm just trying to understand what's his beef with the Panama Canal and Greenland. He talking about, man, I'm taking over. I'm about to come through there. I'm gonna swoop them up. I'm gonna lock them down. And I was watching, and the reporters asked him. They said, "Well, whatever you got in your mind, we cool with it. But can you say definitively that you will not attempt to use military force to seize some level of control?" He told me, "No, I ain't gonna say that." Now, I just want y'all, James, keep what's going on. Glad to see you. I just want y'all to process this. For those of you who cast your vote, and if your vote brought them in to power, understand this is nothing new. These things, no matter how strange they may seem, you knew you was getting ready to get strange. For those who didn't vote for them, this is the types of things that you feared, that there was going to be some activity that was inconsistent with the way we normally operate. Hey, y'all about to have a real y'all gonna have a real good time for the first couple of years. James said he's trying to do what Putin is doing. Maybe it ain't really working out all that well for Putin. So I'm just saying to the people out there, just like the little commercial used to say, you asked for it, you got it. Toyota, you asked for this. Johnny said he wants to control the waterway commerce flows through there. Yeah, I understand the motive. Okay. I just simply, Jay Dizzle, am not processing the posture, because can we really afford to be in the midst of this level of controversy and then finding ourselves on the outskirts of whether it is NATO, which he said he not really that fond of anyway, or just the other nations? And will he force some of these nations to seek the help of countries such as China and or Russia? And is that the game plan? Let me say this. Everybody is, sometimes we get so caught up in Nikki Carter. What's going on, girl? Glad to see you on the show tonight. Cassandra Key, what's going on? Glad to see you on the show. And I'm saying this, you and I have to be mindful of what's taking place. Uh-oh, y'all, they go Big Rob. Big Rob, what it do? Happy New Year's to you, my brother. And I want y'all to keep these things in mind. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, if something is this strange, is it intentional, and what was the expected outcome? I had a meeting with my team a few days ago, and I told them, I said, 25 is, if we are moving forward to expectations, responsibility, expectation, and outcomes. All right. And I'm going to challenge you all to start thinking that way, even on a personal level. If he is moving to a perspective that would potentially drive some of our former allies to go to some of the countries that that are not so favorable to us, you have to ask yourself, was that the motive from the start? Is there some type of agreement that he has? And I don't know that it is, but it is strange that you would be trying to push countries that were once our allies into potentially having to ask for Russian support and or support from China unless you was trying to hook them up. I'm just saying. Okay. So what is Nikki Carter talking about? Nikki Carter talking about he a clown? Oh my goodness. He's using distraction to take the focus off what's the real issue is. But Nikki Carter, what is the real issue? And I want y'all to understand something. There are some points that Donald Trump has done that whether you like him or not, the greater question is about us, about our country and its policies. And let me begin by asking about this one. Now, there was some small chatter today, excuse me, and people, James said he had no allies his first term, and people were muddling about the fact that Donald Trump has challenged successfully in many cases. Some he has not been as successful, but he is still yet to be forced to take any type of action. Look, Big Rod say he a plant agent, probably so. But I want to talk to you all who are talking about our legal system. Now, the legal system we have is probably one of the better ones there are, but it is designed to give people an opportunity to recover in some fashion. Now, when we look at what Donald Trump has done in every single legal case that he has been attached to, he has challenged, and when found guilty of certain things, he has challenged it. First, he's challenged it from this level of the courts, then the next level. I don't have a problem with him challenging it. I have a problem with the fact that regular Americans could not be free and or in similar situations if they did not have access to the political input. Now, that does not mean that Donald Trump is doing something wrong in his challenge process. How do I figure that? Well, first and foremost, look at it from this perspective. When Congress had an opportunity to charge the president, former president, getting ready to be next president, Congress would not act. All right. Then you have the Department of Justice that has not a written policy, but a process that they have followed for some time. Nikki Carter said they get too much leeway. The Department of Justice has a process. The reason why, for those of you who are listening, I am saying process and not a policy. It is not a written policy that you cannot pursue the President of the United States prior to him being inaugurated for crimes. It is not a written policy that says you cannot release information and or go after a president to whom you or a former president. Let's scratch off the president because that's a different situation. There is nothing that says that you can't. They have utilized a process, not a policy, that says when it comes to election time, they won't release certain information. Now he's trying to use, because I'm getting ready to be sworn in, these things should be put on hold. The truth of it is they have used this process in the past, but no one has manipulated as much as he has. James said also he put people in place to keep him out of trouble in the first term. Absolutely. Now, the Supreme Court itself, I believe, overstepped their boundaries. they made some decisions that were less than favorable decisions for the American public that no other scholars have stated made sense. But then for that, you must accept the fact that these same individuals, let's see what Big Rod said. Big Rod said regular Americans don't have the funds to challenge the court like he does. Plus, he supports so many in Congress that he may or may not have dirt on them. In addition, he's bringing votes to others. Absolutely, Big Rod. And that is why I want you all to understand the difference between, are they acting based on written policy or processes that have been in place for some time. Now, Big Rod said a lot when he said it has a lot to do with your finances. You can challenge anything. The difference is most judges are not afraid to put you or I in jail. Now, there's no other way to say it but that. If you and I were convicted of 34 felony counts, we would more than likely have received some time. I don't care if it was 90 days and a hefty fine, 6 months, 12 months. I don't care what it is. We would have gotten something, and it wouldn't have been let me ride out on appeal while I'm on appeal. Now, he is also saying, I don't want to be sentenced at all, even though the judge in that case says, I'm going to give you the lightest sentence possible, meaning you're not going to be on probation. I'm not going to give you any jail time. First and foremost, I think anybody who has done a similar act should now be released. Let them go. If you're saying that Donald Trump can do it, and you're going to give him the least amount of time possible, which is no time, no probation, no ankle monitor, then release everybody that you have locked up or rescind the penalty that you have done for everybody else. The system is not fair. And that's just my opinion. I don't have a problem with you doing it for Donald Trump if that's what you want to do, but I do have a problem that you're not giving the same courtesy to all of the others who did similar or lesser crimes and either got probation, got some small jail time, and or lost some privileges. If you're not going to treat everybody fairly, that's the reason why people are saying they do not trust the judicial system, because it lacks fairness and equality. Nobody is saying that you don't have the ability to make the judgment calls. We're saying the inconsistency in when you apply them is the key. Like when the Supreme Court said that, listen, presidents have immunity. So does that mean if Joe Biden was to wake up tomorrow morning and have SEAL Team 6 do some drastically deed, and I'm hoping that he's not, but I'm using a hypothetical that the lawyers argued when they went before the Supreme Court, and they said, are you saying that a president of the United States could take SEAL Team 6 and order them to kill or do something to somebody who was running against them? And they said, yes, that is what they were saying. That is what Trump's attorney is saying. And then, therefore, when the Supreme Court made the judgment that they did, essentially, what is to prevent Joe Biden or anybody else from taking the actions that was argued before the Supreme Court and saying there ain't gonna be there's not gonna be any change in presidency, because the Supreme Court said, as commander in chief, as long as I am president, I could order this and I would have immunity. That's the ridiculous nature of what we are existing in now. And that's the reason why the American public is concerned. Even those who supported Trump and those who have not are concerned now that he has won the election about the gray area. And there exists a real gray area that is very dangerous, because even if Trump doesn't go off the deep end, which I'm a little suspicious of his mental state. What's up, Marcus? Keep glad to see you. Nikki Carter said, yes, it does. Big Rod said he has shown that the scales of justice is not evenly balanced. Absolutely. And Big Rod, I don't know if it's Donald Trump that has shown it, as much as I am curious as to whether or not it is the organizations within themselves. So I just want you all to process that. Now that we've gotten that out the way, let's talk about some things a little bit closer to y'all emotional roller coasters that you go through. Listen, people, it is 2025 now. We're in a whole different zone. And I have been in observation mode for the last few weeks. And James said it's definitely not when you bring your entourage. Hey, absolutely. I've been in observation mode for a few weeks, just reflecting and watching and doing all of these things. And I just want to say this. I saw something on social media the other day, and I may have even sent it to a few of you all. I don't think I posted it. But what it said was, and this one, in fact, was geared toward women. Man, I can't think of what the name of it was. But the gist of it said, you've been on social media presenting yourself half naked for a few years. If nobody has picked you up by now, go put some clothes on. Now, I thought it was funny as all outdoors, but I thought it rang true. And so one of the things we're gonna peruse through mentally tonight is, are we driving anywhere differently in 25? And I'm not talking about a resolution. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. Y'all said, hey, I'm gonna walk 10 miles a day. I'm not gonna eat meat no more. I'm not gonna do X, Y, Z. I ain't talking about none of that. I'm talking about something serious, because part of what I'm noticing in my zeal to observe and collect information is that we are existing in a mental and emotional space where it is hard for people to deal with each other and deal, in fact, with themselves, because there's so much foolishness going on. Okay. I was listening to some people today, ear hustling, if you will, because while I moved my office to a different location, and yeah, I got me a bigger office with a bigger window, so I got a good view. I done earned that while y'all tripping. But anyway, so I was ear hustling, and part of what I was ear hustling, I heard some ladies in the corridor, and they was talking, running their mouth like sometimes people do. And I heard one of the ladies say, I'm sick and tired of these men because it ain't no good men out there. I felt some kind of way. Now, I ain't get out my chair and go out there and apply some theological mindset to it. I left it alone because I shouldn't have been ear hustling anyway. Or one might say they shouldn't have been talking so loud in the corridor. However you would have it, I just want to put this out there in y'all mindset for y'all to marinate on. It has always been good men and women out there. Okay. Stop fooling yourselves because you have these huddle ministries and you say there's no good this or there's no good that. And surprisingly, it is certainly more women that I know of that have that feeling. Most of the time, you don't hear men saying ain't no good women out there. Okay. But you are almost always going to be able to find some type of group where women are saying there are no good men. First and foremost, do you know what a good man looks like? Uh-oh, Nikki Carter up. She done woke up. Excuse me. Nikki Carter, I am not female bashing. I am stating a matter of fact of what I overheard when I was ear hustling today. And I'm just asking the question, if you make a broad statement, y'all, they got my armor bearer, Essie Shepherd, what's going on? Glad to see you. And then more, what's going on with you? You can tell them ladies that done got out of Bible study because they pop on all at the same time. Some of y'all get up here early because y'all ain't never doing no Bible study, but that's neither here nor there. So the question I am asking, Nikki Carter, ain't nobody, ooh, Lord, Nikki Carter, you get on my nerve. But it's 25, so I'm going to let you have that tonight. I'm asking women, when you all use this broad brush to stroke the painting of there's no good men, do you know what a good man looks like? And are you saying that there are no good men as far as you are concerned, or that you can attract, or that you can keep, or whatever the little twist and turn? I don't know everything they was talking about. That comment stuck out to me as a man because, of course, I get tired of hearing situations where people are saying there are no good men. What is a good man? Let's break that down tonight. I don't care who responds. Because if you're saying that it's not something, then you should be able to tell us in the general public what a good man looks like. And I ain't say a good looking man. I just said a good man. I don't want none of y'all to be out here misconstruing what I'm saying. Don't get quiet now, Nikki Carter. You said I was bashing. I'm asking a logical question to maybe some of these seasoned sisters out here. What exactly does a good man look like? Because if there's a broad picture being painted amongst some of these huddle ministries, wherever we find ourselves gathering, that there are no good men, the first question must be, how do you know? Because you must be able to identify what a good man looks like. Uh-oh. Nikki Carter said, ask the men if they know how to be a good man. Well, Nikki Carter, I appreciate the feedback. But in order for a man to know how to be what women consider a good man, we need to know what you all consider a good man to be. And I believe that I'm not getting any responses because I don't think there's any one answer. It depends on the woman or the women and what their individual likes, needs, or whatever is. But if you're saying it in these huddle ministries that there are no good men out here in these streets, then what does a good man look like or consist of? Anyone? See, and this tells me, the lack of responses tells me two things. One, it tells me y'all will talk all that foolishness when y'all in the privacy of your little huddle ministries in the corners, like secrecy, if you will. But it also tells me you ain't got that type of backbone, because if you had that type of backbone, if you really felt that way, you'll say it. Big Rod said, Nikki, that wasn't the question. Tell about it, Big Rod. See, because if you were to ask me, a man, what do I personally, and I'm not saying it's going to match up what you all as women think, because I'm not a woman, so I can tell you my perspective as a man, and it might be different from other men. Here's what I believe. I believe that there are a lot of good men and women out there. I believe that the average man considers himself to be a good man if he does the best that he personally can for those who he loves and care for. I believe that is the broad stroke of what is a good man. Does he do the best he can, not what you think he ought to do? Okay, there lies part of the problem. Men are not your genies. They are not robots. We are not programmed to sit around all day and hope that we make the right comment, say the right thing, do the right thing, respond the right way to everything that may pop up in your minds. And it's even worse when you can't say out loud what a good man looks like to you. Big Rod said there are good men out here, but some of us may not be in the tax bracket that you're looking for. He done reloaded. Big Rod said, for some, not all, some of y'all think a good man is based on tax brackets. Well, Big Rod, since you and I are the only one answering the question, I think we have to go off what our opinion is, because we giving them an opportunity to speak up, but it seemed like them water coolers is the only place that they bold enough to speak up. Let me say this to you, first and foremost. And I hate this, because most women will say, if you ask them so that they don't appear to be some type of gold digger, if you will, they'll say, oh, whatever a man makes doesn't bother me. James said, hit him in the pockets, Big Rod. But let me tell you why that has to be a lie. Because if you say I'm going to remove and I'm not considering his finances, what his earning power is, then that means you also can't be considering what his purchasing power is. Because they go hand in hand. Understand what I'm saying? They do go hand in hand. If you say, I don't care what a man earns, then you certainly can't say that, but I need a man to do the following things. What's the following things? Okay? What do, and matter of fact, let me ask this question. Are the same things that make a good man the same things that make a good woman? It should be. It should be that whatever makes one person good should make everybody. If we're not talking about fiscal responsibility. Okay? A good person should be a good person. Look at Sean Mance, my brother. Happy to see you. He said it can't be. and I agree, but I think it should be. If women can't come up here tonight, April Brown, she like to run her mouth. Maybe she'll say something. If women aren't comfortable coming up here tonight, if you're saying it by the water coolers, but you don't have the backbone to say it out here, then men can't ever reach a goal. We don't know what the goalpost looks like. If you're saying there are no good men out here, then what are the criteria for being a good man? And are the criteria the same for being a good woman? Because if you say a man should be thoughtful, we want women to be thoughtful too. Big Rod said when it comes to some women, finances, security, and how much of the bills they will cover. Big Rod is not playing with y'all tonight. So we've already talked about one thing. If you say it's how considerate is a person? Well, we believe women ought to be considerate too. Matter of fact, I am inclined at this particular point to say that men are far more considerate in some situations than women. Because men tend to not like to argue. Women do not care in some cases, not all. Women don't care about the argument. They good with the argument. They good with the fight. They good with the buck up. Men, most real men, and I'm not talking about young dudes because there are a lot of young dudes that have not come into their own yet, just like young women. But when you're talking about being considerate, the average man does not want to spend a whole lot of time barking and arguing. Am I right, fellas? So most of the time we are considerate enough to let you have the argument because truth be told, arguing really don't mean that much to us. The real question is, why is one of your primary languages with a man is that you feel like you're always having to argue, always having to challenge, always being at the forefront of let me gaslight a situation. Big Sean said women care about the path where men should care about the destination. Okay, possibly. I see where you're going with that, but I think I think that the issue is this. Many times the path is irrelevant or should be because I may know something. And you know what? Sean said it, and I'm gonna expound on that. James said conflict. Absolutely. The conflict part of life, men are built for conflict, but do not like conflict. Women are not necessarily built for it, but love to engage in it with the expectation that if I can stir up enough emotion, that the end result will be that I will get something the way that I want it. But let's go back to what Big Sean said. He said women care about the path. The problem with that is, and fellas, I'm just asking y'all tonight, how many fellas out there have ever been going somewhere, had your woman on the other side of the car, maybe she was driving, however you want to do it, and you went one direction. Let's say you could get to the same destination by going left or right. You go right. She wants to know why you didn't go left. See, that is part of what I believe Brother Sean was saying, is that you're stuck on how are we going to get there? Whereas men are like, look, I've evaluated this. I want to go this way. Now, it might be that I've already looked at some things and I know that there's some trouble on the other way. Or it could be that I just wanted to go right. You in the car with me. We got a destination. We ain't running late. Why are you making an argument or second guessing the direction that I choose to go when it's my job to get us there? I didn't ask for a co-pilot. You have never flown on a flight where the co-pilot starts telling the pilot what to do unless he or she is grabbing their chest or in some type of emergency situation, because that's the reason why you got a co-pilot, not to take over and fly at random whenever they want to, only when there is a need or request from the pilot. But what happens is, as Sean said, women, you want to direct and lead, and when he does not comply, then you use a narrative that there are no good men out there. Is it that there are no good men, or is it that there are a significant amount of women who are never satisfied? Because a man, by definition, is going to have some problem with you always wanting to lead. It is in our DNA to be leaders, to be warriors, to be protectors, to be providers. You want to assume directive over that part of him. And when he does not submit to that, you become emotional and begin to say to him, you're not a real man, or you're challenging him. Ladies, we've been up here. It is 8:40. I have not seen one woman who is willing to tell all of us what makes a good man. And so I'm going to put this out here. Big Sean said, women feel like good men will capitulate. I'm going to say this as a matter of principle. Because it's 8:40, because we've put this request out there, because there are no women willing to accept and put in writing or reply as to what makes a good man, then from this day forward, until you can tell men what a good man looks like and be comfortable saying it publicly without the fear you're going to make yourself look some kind of way, then I would just appreciate it if you stop saying there are no good men, because we're living up to our expectation. The question is, do you have a different expectation that's comfortable when you're in your little private sessions with each other, but you're scared to say it out loud because somebody's going to look at you and say that's unreasonable? And I'm not even out here on no bashing thing. I want to be able to get to the bottom of it, but we can never get to the bottom of anything because the huddle ministries don't want to publicize their thoughts and emotions. But you can stir up these things. If you don't feel like a man is doing something, ask yourself, since we know that women drive a lot of the emotion in any relationship, where are you driving it? Uh-oh, we got one. Annie Moore said, I can't answer for all women. I just know mine is a good man. Okay, well, Annie Moore, tell me. I'm great with that. But tell us, how do you know your man is a good man? All we're trying to do right now is get a definition. We're trying to, as men, be able to understand what is accepted as a good man by description. You said, I can't answer for all women. I just know mine is a good man. Tell us how you know your man is a good man. And I believe he is. But can you describe it for us so we can all have a measuring stick, if you will? Because it seemed like Annie the only one willing to talk tonight. See, when we done bypass foolishness, when we not up here arguing, when we are up here asking for something as simple as give me a description so I'll know how to spot it, I'll know if I'm that, most of y'all ain't got nothing to say. Because it ain't no fight in that. We done deduced this down to, if you feel that way, stand on business. I don't see none of y'all other than Annie standing on anything. So Annie, I'm asking you, if since you know your man is a good man, can you tell us how were you able to identify that he was a good one? Big Rod said, define and clarify what a good man is so we can all learn and grow. Say it again, big dog. Jay Dizzle said, I will suffice to say, a good man creates space of peace all around himself at all times. He's content, has a small circle, takes care of responsibility, and makes sure the home is safe and balanced. Well, Jay Dizzle, let me say something. Most men would agree, but I'm not asking brothers right now. We are all probably on the same page. Big Sean said most, put it in quotes, meaning not all, women define me by patriarchal principle. Hey, listen, all I want y'all to do is understand, why is it that my brothers tonight have found their voice, but the topic is something we begging women to be specific and clear with us so that in 25, if we haven't been hitting the mark, we'll know what the mark looks like. But apparently, ain't no women got nothing that they want to say, with the exception of Annie Moore, and we appreciate her response. And all we're asking Annie Moore is, since she has the ability to identify a good man in her relationship, we want you to share with us, educate us. So, here we go. April said, a good man provides financially, spiritually, guidance, support, love, trust, loyalty, room to let his partner grow into their best self. I know a lot of good men and they don't get enough respect. All right, so that right now, that's the standard. That's the standard because April has been the only person willing to put it in writing. Now, April, I'm not trying to break down what you said, but I want to ask the question. If you're saying a good man provides financially, spiritually, guidance, support, love, trust, loyalty, and room to let his partner grow into their best self. Let's break that down. The Legal Beagle said, look, I'm currently single, so I'll let you know when I find one. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But let's go back to April. April, first of all, I applaud you. I salute you because you was willing to step up. But I got to talk to you about some things. Because some of yours are in direct conflict with each other and for what a woman does. If you're saying that the man provides, I ain't worried about financially, spiritually, guidance, those two things directly require you to be willing to accept the spiritual guidance and support. You can't say that a man is, and I know you didn't, so let me be clear, April, I appreciate the fact you put this up here. You're not saying that they are. As a matter of fact, you say it's a lot of them out there that don't get enough respect. I'm saying, women, if you said that a man should provide guidance, in order for him to provide guidance, you must be in the emotional and mental state to receive it. Other than that, we just talking to ourselves. One requires the other. If you said he's going to provide spiritually, if he's trying to teach you something from a spiritual perspective, if you feel like you know more than he do, then you're not listening with an ear for receiving. You're looking to combat what he says so that you're trying to teach him. And I'm not saying that some of us couldn't learn, but if you say that a good man is going to provide spiritually, he's going to provide guidance, those two things, are you receptors for that type of information? He's going to provide support. She's already said financial. So what does the support mean? April said, if he's a good man, being submissive becomes easier. Probably. But if you're not the type of woman, and I'm not saying you, because I can't call this for you, but if a woman isn't built to be submissive, most women, not all, believe the term submissive is negative, and certainly in the Black community. If you were to say the word submissive to the average woman of color, she's going to tell you the conditions by which she is willing to be submissive. So it's a little bit difficult. Yeah, when you get around a whole bunch of people that you don't know, you might say, I don't have a problem with being submissive to my man. But you're always going to have the air quotes and say, if he's doing the right thing, if he's doing this, if he's doing that. You can't be the determining factor as to whether or not his leadership is good or bad, because you're not being submissive. You don't know if what he's telling you could or would work, because you are emotionally combative with the fact that he's telling you something in the first place. I'm just saying. But let's go back. April said spiritual. She said financial already. So April, what does support mean? We know you're not talking about financial because you listed it first. But when you say over here that support, he provides support. What does support look like that is different from finances? If you can tell us that. She said he's going to provide love. Love is an emotion. Love is normally triggered by a couple of things. How do I feel in this space? Do I feel like the people or the person that I am dealing with or my family or otherwise, do I feel like there is a level of appreciation and responsiveness to love and kindness that I show? If so, then he's going to give more. But it is a lot of men who are out here attempting to provide love, but if it doesn't get packaged the way that somebody feels like they want it to be packaged, then they're going to say, you don't love me like I want to be loved. Big Rod said, for some, being submissive is conditional based on feelings and situations. Call it like it is, Big Rod. You hitting home runs tonight. And again, if you say a good man provides love, love can't be based on whether he's doing it the way you want him. So now you're saying it's not enough for a man to love you unconditionally as himself. He's got to pick up a skill book on how, in this case, let's use April, how April wants to be receiving his love. That's a little strange, because if he's doing it the best way he knows how, now he's got April is back on the scene. She said, support of their partner's dreams, desires, motivate them to never settle, become their partner's biggest cheerleader in life, helping them to become the best version of themselves. Sounds good. I can concur that that might be a description of it. Let me ask you a question, ladies. Do you do this for your man? She says support of their partner's dreams, desires, motivate them to never settle, become their partner's biggest cheerleader in life. Are you those things? And I don't want you to get confused because you said, I believe in you, because saying it and then chopping him down or questioning every time he gets ready to do something, you're second guessing it, does not mean that you are supportive of what he's doing. You're assuming that he or she doesn't have knowledge. Because I'll say this to you. If for some reason, hold on, what Ty say? Are men expecting blind submission to all things he brings? Hold on, Ty. I'm not saying, this ain't about what we expect. I'm asking what y'all are categorizing it. But in terms of blind submission, you can't ask me to lead you and then pull all the way that I'm trying to take you somewhere. If you got, and let me say this, I am not comparing women to animals. I'm using this as an example. If I go get a mule and I'm trying to get this mule to walk down this road, and the whole time I'm trying to get the mule to go down the road, they are bucking up, going the other way, pulling against me. You know what old people call that mule? A stubborn mule. So if you're asking, are men expecting blind submission to all things he brings? I don't think men feel that kind of way. But I also don't believe it's any level of submission just because you say, I'll follow you, but you're going to question me the whole way. That's not submissive. That's you don't trust my judgment. And let's go back to what April said. He provides financially, spiritual guidance, support, love, trust. Trust. Are you trusting your man? Are you trusting your man if every time your man or a man or any man tells you something, you're going to go against? You got a second guess. I can tell you like this. It's a whole lot of men that probably would have made it further, both professionally, personally, spiritual, or otherwise. But most men can't shake the fact that if I'm trying to tell you something that I know, you're going to go against it or you're going to question. And let me be clear. You don't have to say, I don't believe you. But if I'm telling you something, if I'm telling you I already drove down this road and I know if you go the other way, the bridge is out, why does a man have to take you and show you that the bridge is out and then turn around and go the way he was going to go in the first place? Why you can't do what April said, a good man provides trust, why you can't trust him? So, Ty, when you're talking about blind submission, I don't know what kind of submission you want. It's not submission if you second guessing. Big Rod said, no good man wants someone to blindly follow them. We can provide and support your dreams and goals, but will you listen to them? We are exposed to more information than we can provide to you. Hey, there it is. April said, I think we all need to change the thought process of earning trust, but trust until it's broken. Cassandra said, here's my definition of a good man. Look at that. I knew the legal beagle wasn't going to let me down. She said, a good man is not perfect, but he has integrity, has empathy, is responsible, is respectful, is kind, generous, and considerate, shows humility and strength of character, is a fair person. He prioritizes a meaningful relationship with love, support, and consistency, and knows his purpose. Girl, look. Now, I don't know if that's a home run or not, but it's a good definition. I just need you to clarify two things so me and the fellas, we can print and copy this and put it on our phone so we know what we're working toward. When you say he is kind, what does kind look like, Cassandra? And I'm not asking trying to be funny. I want to leave here tonight knowing what's the goal. When you say he's generous, is that generous? What is that time? Is that emotion? Is that financially? What is his generosity? What's the scale that generous is measured on? And again, we probably won't solve all this tonight, but I certainly appreciate April and Annie Moore and Cassandra and even Taya, because y'all are giving us something. I just need to, hold on, Cassandra. Yes to all that. I don't know what that means. What does generosity mean? And for a man to be considerate, does that mean that how is considerate measured to you all as women? We might even go over a little bit tonight. I ain't got nothing but time. Not that much over. Because I understand what she said. He's not good. He's not perfect, but he has integrity. I believe most men do have integrity, but there are a lot that may find themselves in sin. She said he has empathy. Ladies, I want y'all to understand what Cassandra said. She didn't say he was sympathetic to everything. She said he has empathy. And if you don't know the difference between empathy and sympathy, I suggest you go look it up, because I would subscribe that most men are empathetic. We just don't get all emotional about every single thing. We can hate the fact that something has happened. We can feel for it, but we ain't got time to get stuck in neutral, because there's still some things that got to get done. She said he's responsible. Check. We know what that means. He's respectful. Check. We know what that means. He is kind. Kind is subjective, because kind would mean to most men, unless you can rearrange and redefine it, kind would have to be based on what makes you feel like somebody is kind. Some women feel like being kind is you let them say what they want, do what they want, act the way they want, act as foolish, buck up at you, do whatever. And as long as you can be accepting of it and not get into a brawl, they say, okay, you know what, he's a kind person. But what is funny, and fellas, you can tell me if y'all feel the same way, one of the things that is funny to me is kind and generous almost always follow each other when coming out of the mouth of a woman. It's like when I convince you that you're supposed to be kind, and kind means I'm going to be sharing and all these other things, then I'm going to say generous, and generous, while not in this case specifically, because it could have a broader meaning. Cassandra said kind meaning generous and considerate, being helpful and encouraging when he needs to be. Okay, now those things right there, I think the part that we got to work on is when he needs to be. How does he know when he needs to be? What's the trigger? Is it Hold on, what April say? Generous with time, energy, effort, intention, more so than with his money. Okay, April, I'm rocking with you with that. Energy. Let's talk about time. Ladies, let me say this to you all. And I'm gonna say this, and I want you to understand, because I mean you no disrespect. But the same folks that you say ain't got no time, he can't have time if he's getting up in the morning, going to work, working all day so that he can be generous in other areas, so he can be a provider. He can't be a provider sitting at the house and waiting around for you to come back so he can make you feel good that he's available. I'm telling you that time is the thing that most men do not have, because how do you magically come up with a bunch of time when you out here hard working trying to be a provider? Energy. Ladies, I'm going to give y'all this, and we're going to call this a little nugget for the night. A man matches energy. If your man comes home or calls you up or is around you and you are positive and you are being loving and you are being affectionate, he is likely to be that. But if your energy is aggressive, if your energy is a matter of fact, then you set the tone before he ever speaks, because we read vibrations. I say all the time, I'm at a different vibration. I want peace. I don't care nothing about half the stuff y'all talking about. I work hard, so I want peace. If you give me peace, I turn the whole world upside down. I don't want to argue about everything. But when you say time and energy, energy is directly connected to how did you make him feel on the initial contact. It ain't even got to be words. Your man come around, everything got to be a secondary question. He says something, you got to check him on that. You're putting out negative energy, so he's reciprocating to you what you gave him. So if you want our energy to change the energy that you start with. Because you all have already agreed that y'all are the controllers of emotion. Emotion and energy intertwine with each other. You control the vibrations. If you stop finding reasons to start off with negative energy, most of the time he ain't gonna give it to you. Because we love peace. When you say effort, effort is sometimes elusive when it comes to men, depending on work. Like I can tell you, most people will say I work too much. I'm generally at work by 6:30 in the morning. Most of the time it's dark outside when I get off. But I can say this to you. For those people who I love and care about, the way that I'm able to make sure that everybody in my circle is good is because I get up and go get that money like that. I'm out there building an empire, not for me. I don't need it. I could get me a wooden raft and some minnows and go fishing and be good. I do what I do to make sure that everybody that I love and care about is good. But the price for that is that I'm not 24/7 available. And so when you're saying that the time and the energy and the effort are all attached to whether or not he is here, there, or whatever, the trade-off is you are probably going to lose some of those things. If you got a man in your life and you want more of his time and you want him to be working less, then that means what's going to happen is when he works less, he's going to have less income. And if the trade-off is okay with you, power to the people. I'm not knocking it. But don't get mad when the trade-off, now you're mad about it because you're saying, hey, we used to do the following things. You can't go to where you used to go. Because I didn't hear any woman saying, I want to be the one that takes care of the trips and the good times, and I want to be the one that makes sure everything is good. You've already attached that responsibility to the man. So the only way it's possible is he's out there getting it. Generous with his intentions. The average dude, if you make that man feel a sense of peace, I don't know many men that won't give you everything he got and do anything for you.
And I ain't talking about money. The average woman could get a yes from a dude for no reason. All she got to do is act right. All she got to do is be his piece. 9 times out of 10, we looking for the medicine. We already got the symptoms. You can't just say I'm the cure. How you the cure if you bring in negative energy? Because April said generous with time, energy, effort, intention. If that's what a man is supposed to bring, then ain't that what you supposed to bring too? Are you generous with your time, energy, effort, and intentions? April, I'm gonna give you one more. I'm gonna give you the last thing. I gotta go. It's after 9 o'clock. Time goes with intentional effort. He can spend 30 minutes buy Dollar Tree cards that he leaves around. Time is not always face-to-face. A 1-minute text can change our entire day. A simple, hey, baby, hope your day is going awesome. I don't believe that there's a lot of men not doing that. Now, let me tell you something. Stop creating stuff that men don't normally do. We don't really want to walk around Dollar Tree looking for a car. If I tell you or text you or whatever, I think you could look in your phone on average and see. Now, I'll say this. The average man will minimize communication when the communication is confrontational. And the fellas might not say nothing. I'm good with that. Ty said, Rod, when is our input considered valuable to your leadership, especially if you think we know less? Is it truly considered? Ty, that man did not say y'all don't know nothing. See, you can't move past the space where he's saying, if you ask your man to lead, then let him lead you. You're not allowing him to lead if you're second guessing everything he says and does. Why are you going down this road? Why are you going down that road? Look, Hansel and Gretel, I'll leave you some breadcrumbs if you need to. Just stop talking and let me go where I got to go. I'm out here trying to make sure ain't no danger. I'm trying to make sure it ain't no snakes, ain't no wolves, ain't no Negroes to the side. I'm trying to do all this. I can't do it because I got to listen to you question why I didn't go right. Why did I go over this hill? You're not following if you're second guessing every step of the way. Look, people, we're going to pick this up next week because I ain't got no more time for y'all. I got to get my rest so I can get up and get out there and get that bread in the morning. This is a good conversation. We're going to pick it up next week. Ladies, I hope you got some more input. And I'm out.
It's about that time, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Run it to your friends.